The views expressed in the dialogue and commentaries are solely those of the individuals providing them and do not reflect the opinions of Valken Sports, its parent, affiliate, or subsidiary companies. Viewer discretion is advised.
Valken presents the Valken Debrief Airsoft live show, sponsored by Enola Gay and Elite Force. The Debrief is the most interactive airsoft podcast online, and it comes to you each week in glorious high-definition resolution. Enjoy many experiences, including our energetic hosts, interactive polls, special guests, live caller hotline, event announcements, and video premieres. And be sure to check out the Valcon Alliance, which offers many benefits, including airsoft team sponsorships. The Debrief also broadcasts live from many locations worldwide, from California in the United States and all the way to Germany in Western Europe. It's also easy to get your airsoft event on the show by just sending us a Facebook event link. And if you miss any broadcasts, you can catch the rewind on SoundCloud or YouTube. And please follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Now sit back, relax, and get ready for your Valken Debrief.
Hey guys, it's Chris from Enola Gay, and it's time for Valken Debrief Live.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Valken Debrief Airsoft live show.
Livest show in Airsoft. Biggest budget. You got one?
The only airsoft thing going on.
Ooh.
In the
only
United
show
States.
in Airsoft right now. Is that,
Yes.
is that what we're claiming right now?
Yes.
Or anywhere. Is anybody else on still? What about Chairsofter shows? Is he going strong?
I don't know. I gotta check on
We gotta send
Andy.
in, or hope he's still with us. Because that's the downside to kind of like when something like this is going on. Like if you don't check in every couple of weeks, like they might not be there.
I know, right?
A little scary.
So this is episode number
122.
Yay!
Yeah, right off the top of
122.
my head. Are we going scriptless today? Because I haven't seen it. Like it just
We're going scriptless. We're
going
going off script.
Okay.
I'm the Kaiju, the Supreme Commander of the Valcon Alliance.
This is Peltast, Lord Fuzzyface of the BB Shire. Quick announcement. Remember, all public places require masks and gloves. We are not screwing around in BB Shire. We're going to flatten that curb before anybody else. Hashtag flatten the BB curb.
Yep. And tonight we're super excited to have special guest Seuk Kim from Tactical Airsoft Arena. And Cheez-It Lang says, get it right. It's pronounced Seuk.
Is that like Hadouken?
I don't know. He spelled it out like that.
Like, is Seuk like, was that like the kick? No, that was like kickback barocas or something like that. Ooh, that was
Hadouken!
embarrassing. Hadouken! What was the uppercut?
Hey!
It was dragon uppercut, I think. I don't know.
Oh, Random Guy Kev says, Andy from the Chairsofter show posted something on Monday. Sweet.
Okay, good. So thank you for
Awesome.
checking in.
Thank you.
And of course,
That's
I've
awesome.
seen Gorilla Airsoft still live and kicking. ASAP, I think, is playing video games right now.
No,
Gorilla's live and kicking.
Yeah, they're alive and kicking.
Yeah, that's what I didn't mean. I didn't mean like they were dead. I meant like I know the people that do it are all still good to go. I see them.
ASAP
on Facebook.
Podcast is no longer another serious airsoft podcast. They're another serious video game podcast.
Are
So
they?
they're just streaming on Twitch or
ASVIP?
something.
But yeah, they're playing. I think Modern Warfare or something like that. I'm surprised they aren't playing Mario Kart. We should go old school with her. We should start streaming old school, like since we have extra time now. But like games no one knows, like Tecmo Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
like
yeah.
like old school. Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
Oh,
You know what I'm
yes.
saying, man?
Uppercut,
Yeah.
body blow. Hey, our overachiever of the night is the first commenter in the chat. The award of 50 exposure bucks goes to.
Is it Ethan Vaughn?
It is
It's
Ethan
Ethan Vaughn, isn't it? I'm
He's-
getting tired of saying that kid's name. Someone else has got to beat him in here.
Hey, Jerry Ross from Gorilla Airsoft Radio. He's alive. He's kicking.
He's alive. Yep, there he is.
He's in the chat.
Okay, cool. No, I mean, I see him on Facebook and say hi and make fun of them a little bit. I know they're still here, but, you know, I don't really hear from Chairsofter very much, so I get a little worried. You forget.
So, also, if you would like to contact us, either just, solicit that you would like to be a guest on the show, or you'd like to suggest somebody else, or you'd like to tell us about your airsoft event, maybe that's scheduled in December, because most likely it's still a go.
We hope.
Or you just want to say hi, you can call our hotline /voicemail/ curbside service.
Not right now, though. We're not answering it right now. It's a voicemail line right now.
Area code 856-975-065.
Would you call that a cold line, not a hotline? Cold line?
It is a cold line
Cold line right now. But yeah, we'll answer it. We'll listen.
Yep.
We might play your messages on the show because we have that little content.
And we love all our live viewers and followers here on Facebook. And we just want to give a quick shout out to all our listeners on SoundCloud.
Oh, and there's actually quite a lot of them lately.
Yes, there
we're
is.
cruising right into about 300 followers. I know that doesn't seem like a big deal, but we started at like 12 when we started the SoundCloud experiment or something. So thank you so much at SoundCloud for the likes and the shares and telling your friends about it. We are glad to be providing some relief in this troubling time, even though we can't participate in the sport. No, sorry, hobby that we all love.
Yes.
Not a sport.
And also, since we also have a lot of time on our hands, we're going to be we're cranking out some written content.
Are we now officially a multimedia company? We do video.
Yep.
We do internet. We do.
Yep.
We don't. Do we make music? That's the only thing we're missing.
No, we don't make music.
We should get an in-house band. Gino, if you can make that happen, in-house band.
Gino, that would be awesome.
That would be the.
Then
the
we don't have to
shizzle.
worry about finding license-free music.
We could have our own composed stuff.
Yep. Mm-hmm. That would be correct.
Just a suggestion, not telling you what to do.
You know what I've noticed here on my wall right there? That big painting?
Yeah.
It was centered, and it's slowly sliding down inside.
Are you
the
talking
frame.
about the Invasion of Hoth painting?
Yes.
Oh, because people have been walking by and knocking into it?
I don't know.
You think maybe?
No, I don't know how they're.
I've
knocking
almost
into
taken
it.
your lightsabers out a couple times, but I think they're still good to go. Maybe the Force is holding them in place. I don't know.
Yeah.
You might be stronger than I thought.
So we want to give a big shout out to our sponsors, Enola Gay, Elite Force, and the Valken Alliance.
Enola Gay, smoke, bangs, lifestyle gear, bags, more stuff. Gloves. Sorry, forgot the gloves.
Yes.
Elite Force, guns, BBs, more guns, pistols, and then more guns, right?
Yeah. Umarks USA.
Lots and lots of guns. So, airsoft guns.
Yep. And the Valken Alliance.
Multi-level marketing.
It
what
is
we're calling
multi-level marketing. So we're just trying to get people. Well, normally we're just trying to get people to get out and play airsoft.
But that's not. We're trying to discourage people
Yeah.
from going out and
I
playing
know,
airsoft right
exactly.
now as well.
But
So-
it's just another social media platform right now that you guys and gals can connect on for more
And
information.
remember, if you're not a member of the Alliance and you win something in the chat, you can't claim your prize because we can't get your information. So you have to join. So
Yep.
if you haven't joined yet, you are ineligible to win good stuff. You can also just sign up if you win, but I would suggest getting on that ahead of time.
Yep. And if you want more information on the Alliance, just head on over to ValkenAlliance.com. Which
All one word.
Yep. Which we also have a shop over there. You can buy some fun
Oh,
T-shirts.
did you have the merch page up?
I do.
I do. I feel that second one from the left, George Lucas is going to sue somebody.
Bad guys doing good
Yeah.
things. Actually, no, because being a member of the 501st, I actually know what's IP when it comes to symbols and logos.
Because I watched Jay and Silent Bob reboot yesterday, and all I could think of was just all the stuff that we're going to get sued over because we are so close on that line after watching that movie.
So tag your friends, get them in here. It's going to be a fun show. Let's see, who do we got?
We got all kinds of good people. Freddie Flux showed up.
Oh,
the
Doug
wonderful
Smith.
Greg Alexander
Yankee.
has joined us. Dylan Fredericks here, of course. We got Timmy Green. Timmy Green asked everybody how they're enjoying their first UCMJ action.
Oh, yeah.
15,
Yep.
15 and 15 half pay and, assigned, restricted to quarters. So I'm saying it's a lot more fun than the first time. I can drink this one.
So, for those that are listening that don't know military lingo, I will translate. What he meant is UCMJ, typically you get 15 days extra duty, 15 days restriction, and some kind of pay cut. So that's all of us right now.
So everybody's enjoying this together at least. It's a unifying experience.
Brian Stroud is in the house. Cheez-It Liang. Jamie Lorette.
Oh, Jerry
Lorette.
Ross from Gorillas here. You already mentioned him. Brandon Wilbanks. Oh, by the way, congratulations, Brandon. I saw that right before all this disaster started, you got the crap tasered out of you for your certification. Congratulations on that, and I'm glad that was 20 years ago for me because I relived every moment of my own experience in that department.
Hey, Mike Nation says, hi guys, from my desk at work, being security for an undisclosed large corporation to all the essential workers. Be safe. Love y'all.
Undisclosed large corporation. That sounds very ominous.
I know, right?
Like, is he working for Cyberdyne or something like that to get Skynet to spread its wings and take over all of us?
Yeah. Drennan Laney is in the house.
So speaking of which,
Kurt Corby.
Challenge for the chat real quick. What are you guys binge watching that is weird? You can't say Tiger King, though, because everybody's talking about Tiger King. So
Be original.
what is your weird discovery for binge watching in the streaming services or on YouTube? What is keeping you occupied while you're stuck in your house? Throw it in the chat. And if we get enough suggestions that are weird, we'll do a poll or something because you guys love those.
Yep. And the word of the night is tactical.
Tactical.
Tactical is the word of the night. And
Tactical.
if you don't know what that means, you'll figure it out.
I'm sure Rich will tell
Oh,
you.
wait. Yeah, said tactical.
Oh, sorry.
There we go.
That was refreshing.
All right. So we're going to get on to our special guest. But Expanse, The Witcher, Star Wars Clone Wars.
Oh, it's already happened? Yeah, The Expanse is a good one if you haven't gotten into that. There's 4 seasons that you can jump right in and enjoy.
Lock and Key, MASH.
Oh, MASH, that's a good one. I haven't seen that in forever. I might redo that. That's on Hulu, I think, so you can rewatch the whole thing.
Yep. Wow.
Ooh. Oh, okay.
Oh,
cool.
Brandon Wilbanks is switching back and forth between the Valken Debrief and Doom Eternal.
Oh,
Nice.
that makes me feel good. Thank you, Brandon. I enjoy that.
Well, no, because I mean, if he's just kind of playing solo and he just plays the podcast, and
And there's a lot of old episodes if you've missed a couple that you can catch up on.
Ryan Marcus Tweeny shared episode number 33 to his feed today, which was we interviewed Cobra Airsoft Legion.
Cobra.
We should get them on the show.
I'm sure they're not doing
them
anything
back.
right now.
I
We could
know.
probably get them.
Yep.
The best thing about being the only people still on is that, like, what else is everybody else doing? Just
know,
call us
right?
from your living room. You don't even have to put on pants. I talked to our guest earlier, and I'm pretty sure he's not wearing pants. I can't confirm it, but, like, I mean, I don't even think it's a full shirt. I think it's one of those, like, 80s football player shirts that cuts off right here, So
He was a teen in the 80s.
that might... Ooh, he's old.
Hey, be quiet. All right, we're going to cut to a quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this quick word from Rich Hurry from Airsoft C3.
Oh, C3.
Hey, this is Papa Rich from Airsoft C3, and you're watching the Valken Debrief. Walking Dead in the debrief. All right, ready? Hey, this is Papa Rich from Airsoft C3, and you are watching. No, you're not watching. You need to watch. You need to check out, like my brain has. Hey, this is Papa Rich from Airsoft C3, and you are watching the Valken Debrief.
These are the Valken Zulu tactical gloves. They have a synthetic leather palm with reinforced areas and silicone prints for extra grip in contact areas. Their Kevlar-covered hardshell knuckles also provide increased protection. They are made with a breathable fabric and include 4-way stretch articulating joints on the small, ring, middle, and index fingers. They also come with a Velcro neoprene wrist closure and come either in black, olive, or tan colors. Thank you for watching, and please leave a review to tell us what you think.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Valken Debrief Airsoft live show.
Only show left. We're
Yep.
all that is. There is no other entertainment in America that hasn't been recorded post
Has the late
coronavirus.
night show even returned?
No, they're all doing it from, like, we are now officially, like, on the same level as, like...
So
like,
we're broadcasting and, like, L is not?
No. What I meant is, like, the Tonight Show is broadcasting just like we do. Like, from someone's house.
Oh, no.
Like,
but
it's
they
from
have
his
nice
couch.
houses.
It looks the same as theirs. Like, I mean, your house is pretty nice. I mean,
true.
this part,
Oh,
I don't know about the
appreciate
rest of it. Yeah. But we can make this part look really good.
Yep.
I mean, we make a lot look good normally. Like, we're not working with the biggest studio. I mean, we got a comfortable studio we get to work with.
Yeah,
but we're
that's
not,
true.
Valken doesn't have, like, CNN money or, like, Fox News money. We'd like to get there someday. Please. Please, just ask it. But
Yep. So we got our
make it look good.
special guest interview segment brought to you by.
Oh, is this Enola Gay?
It is.
It is Enola Gay.
They sponsor the interview or hotline segment, depending on
Well,
we're doing.
The middle of the show. The middle of the show belongs to Enola Gay, if anybody was wondering. So thank you so much, Enola Gay. Hey, Chris. Hey, Darren. Hey, all you guys. How's it going?
Yeah.
Thank you so much for making all that wonderful smoke and other things you make for us.
Yep. So, without further ado, please welcome our special guest, owner of Tactical Airsoft Arena on the East Coast, Mr. Seuk Kim.
How's it going?
Pretty good. I mean, as good as it could be, I guess.
Now,
thanks for having me here.
that looks like kind of a
thank you
plain
for
background,
being
homie.
here.
Are you isolated right now?
This is actually my gaming room in the basement. So,
Oh, okay.
So my family's upstairs, but I'm in the basement.
So
and,
you're in the den of nerd.
Exactly. And sorry
Nice.
to disappoint you. I put on pants just before this interview.
It's okay. It wasn't me that got excited about
It's
it.
all
I mean, I've seen it before. It's okay.
Man, they're calling you Papa Seuk.
Yeah, what's up with that?
Yeah.
I don't know. It must be a joke I don't get.
Gotcha. So, if any of you watching live, you can put your question down in the live chat, and we will ask Papa Seuk that question. Or Sayuk. Sayukin.
Sudoku.
So, speaking of Seuk, I remember I'm like, okay, I don't want to jack up your name. It's like, how do you pronounce your name? He's like, oh, it's like Luke. Oh, like Skywalker. Got it.
Exactly.
So, I mean, that's a pretty unique name. Where are you from?
So I was born in Korea. I came here when I was about 7 years old. And it's funny because that's not my real name. My real name is more like Sayuk. It's Seuk. But because when I was young, all my friends had such a hard time pronouncing it, my best friend kind of changed my name. I kind of stuck, and that's what I've been going with ever since.
That's kind of funny because my best friend growing up has a similar story from you. He came over from Western China when he was about 5.
Mm-hmm.
And so we knew him as Jeremy, but when he went home, he was Yang. And it was a very, a lot of immigrant families have the Americanized name.
Yeah.
And you just literally Americanized your name and didn't actually take an American name.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
It was either that or John. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh.
Yeah, that just doesn't fit. Let's just
no.
mispronounce this one. It'll work
Yeah,
out. The white
exactly.
people, the honkies will get it. It's okay.
Actually got a lot of questions in the chat so far. So
Really?
Yes. Ryan asks, Seuk, who is your favorite Tactical Airsoft Arena employee? Tactical.
Playing favorites. Tactical.
So I'd have to go with everybody except for Ryan.
Would you say that he's not very tactically proficient?
I don't know. He does have this Cry precision equipment. So
Oh my goodness, that's
So-
funny. Random guy Kev asks why, and he's yelling. Kev, why are you yelling in all caps? He says, "Why are you so beautiful, Seuk?"
I'm just trying to follow what Kev does. I mean, he's a beautiful person. I can't compete with him. So.
I mean, you look like you have your own in-house groomer because you don't look as rough as several of us. That haven't.
Yeah, there is
seen
long, there's
salon
long
or
greasy
a
hair
haircut
underneath
place.
these hats right now. It is not anything to write home about. Speaking of which,
Well,
is random guy Kev a regular at your spot? Is that why he's asking all these questions?
No, so I don't know if you guys know Random Guy Kev, but he's done.
We do.
He's he's an awesome guy. He's been a great supporter of us. He does these events around the country, I guess around the world now, because
Yep.
I think he was scheduled to go to UK. I don't know if he still went or got canceled. But he's really trying to promote the sport of airsoft and help it grow by introducing kind of the airsoft to new players and, highlighting kind of small fields like ours and trying to get our name out. And we've been lucky enough to host a couple of his events in the past. And we're scheduled to do some more later this year. So he's been phenomenal. I mean, I
That's
love the
rad
guy.
to hear. So so it's been more of a mutually beneficial relationship.
Yeah. So I met him through one of our employees. I don't know if he's watching, but QS Airsoft, Joe Reynolds. I met him through Joe because Joe has a fairly popular YouTube channel. So he's been, he's kind of friends with some of the other YouTubers as well. And I guess he met Kevin.
Don't be afraid. You can give a shout out to that.
Yeah,
channel.
drop all the name drop you want because this is all about cross promotion here, buddy.
It's all about you. Whatever you want to say.
Yeah, so Joe met Kevin up in New Jersey. I think that's one of his Kevin's home field, up Strike Force South. Shout out to them; they do a great job up there. But yeah, Joe met Kevin at Strike Force, and they talked. And Joe said, would you be interested in having one of your events down at our local field? And he agreed to it, and so he came down for a couple. And we were, like I said, lucky enough to host a couple of those awesome events there.
Oh, that's rad. Cool. Yeah, because that kind of confused me because I know that Kev is from the Jersey area and you're down around DC, and I'm like, if he's driving 3 or 4 hours to play every weekend, you must have a kick-ass field, man. You know what I mean?
Believe it or not, we do, because there's not a ton of indoor airsoft. I mean, I'm sure we'll get into this a little more, but there isn't a ton of indoor airsoft fields. In fact, we're the only one. Our Manassas location is the only one in Virginia.
Well, hold on. Let me cut you off there real quick because we're going down the rabbit hole a little bit.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Just let's set the plate a little bit, if you know what I mean. So you're on the East Coast and you're based out of Manassas, Virginia. Can you give everybody kind of a frame of reference for where that is in terms of like major cities and stuff? Because I know where that is. I went to high school in that area. Yeah. But it's hard. That's a very complicated area. It's like when you say I'm from Long Island, that could mean Fire Island or that could mean Brooklyn. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, know. So why don't you fill us in a little bit about the store and how long you've been there, or the field, and what you guys offer.
Okay, that was like way too much.
Did I?
Yes.
Have I been locked in the house too much lately?
Yes, you've been
I'm sorry,
talking.
okay.
So I'm sorry. Yeah. He hasn't been able to talk to anybody over the age of 18 all week.
Or the age of 12.
I can relate.
Other than his wife. Let's start where you grew up.
Where you from, buddy?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I grew up around here. I live in Springfield, Virginia, which is kind of northern Virginia, just outside of Washington, D.C. About a 20-minute drive from Washington, D.C. So I grew up around here, spent most of my time here, went to high school, elementary school, high school, even went to a college that's right down the street from my high school called George Mason University.
Oh, wow. So you're a super local boy.
Yeah. So I pretty much lived here all my life. I did move up to New York after college for about 5 years. I lived in the city for about 5 years after I graduated. After 9/11, kind of decided to move back, go back to school here. So I came back home of sorts, went and got my MBA at American University, which is in Washington, D.C.
Wait, hold on. So you're like a business professional with master postgraduate stuff. So the question is, how do you go? Like, that's not a background you hear in a lot of field owners. And I'm not saying that to disparage people who own shops and fields, but normally they're kind of like field rats that work, that get a loan and suddenly they have their own business is kind of the traditional way. Sure. How did you find your way into running an airsoft field?
It's kind of fortuitous, I guess, so I started playing airsoft. Gosh, it's been probably about 20 years, and it's kind of funny because I had to look back when preparing for this interview. I went through and looked at my records, and it seems like back in 2003 is when I got my first real airsoft replica. It was a Tokyo Mori MP5. So I used to really be into building PCs and upgrading PCs, and so when your graphics card gets a year old, you start upgrading and get the best.
So so small parts are small parts as far as you're concerned. And circuit boards and small parts are the same whether it's a computer or a car. It's like you can do it or whatever. Cool.
Yeah, but I look back and I saw that I traded a graphics card with this guy for an airsoft gun back in 2003, and so that's when I got my first real airsoft gun. And I started playing more and more around the local fields. There was one indoor field back then. It wasn't back in 2003. It was more like 2008, 2009 that I started playing at every weekend. Met a great group of friends and we formed a team called Team Fluffy Bunny.
I like that.
Fluffy Bunny.
Team Fluffy
that's right
Bunny.
up there with that's about the best name besides Ryan Dean's original call sign.
Oh, Fat Kid Butterfairy.
Or Butterfly Fairy or something.
No, it was Fat Kid Butterfairy.
Yeah.
So our team uniform was Hawaiian shirts.
I like it. Before it was cool because that Hawaiian shirt boogaloo thing didn't start till like 2017 or 2018 or something like that. Yeah.
I know,
this was 2007, 2008.
Nice. Originals. I like it.
So what kind of style of play did you and your team do most of the time?
We didn't really have a style. we just went around. We liked shooting people.
I could dig that.
Yeah.
Do you like indoor or outdoor?
So we played both, but we gravitated more towards indoor. We just, like I said, we like shooting people. We like the action, right? And when we played outdoors, sometimes you'd go 5-10 minutes without shooting anybody. We're like, this is okay, but it's We call it like it's like hiking with an airsoft gun, right?
So you're trying to say that were you like speed softening before it was cool?
Almost. I mean, yeah. We weren't doing the cool sliding and feathering of the trigger and stuff like that. But yeah, we were.
Can you imagine? It was like if anybody had a complaint, like that guy in the Hawaiian shirt over there.
Yeah, like how do you take that guy seriously? You got like 5 guys that are all kitted up like they're just about to go snipe Bin Laden, and then you got like 3 guys that are in sweatpants and.
Well, you got to remember though, back like 2008 to 2010. I mean.
Camis weren't a thing.
I mean, milsim really wasn't a thing yet.
Yeah, no.
It was just like whatever you could, gather at the local surplus store. It was the uniforms back then were true spec.
Unfortunately, I was doing real sim back then, so I didn't have a chance to come back to the States and do mil sim.
Oh my god!
I had some really cool kit for my real sim. Unfortunately, it had some real sim consequences, so I didn't want to do that anymore. Back then. Sorry.
So get back onto the topic. So two of our teammates decided that they wanted to kind of start their own thing. So they opened up an indoor airsoft location up in Rockville, Maryland. So the place that we used to play a lot was in Manassas, not to be confused with our current location.
What part of Rockville is that in? Because I actually went to high school in Rockville, Maryland. I graduated in 01, so this was way before that. But what'd you guys take over? Because, I mean, there wasn't a ton of spots to actually have a business like that in Rockville. There was not, I mean, besides the grocery stores, but Rockville was booming. There wasn't like, any empty space. So how'd you guys make that happen?
There's a couple of areas. So I don't know if you know where the ice arena is in Rockville.
Yep.
But yeah, we're right back there with just before you get to the ice arena.
Oh, okay. So that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
They must have rebuilt all that stuff. It's been like 15 years since I've been home. So that's cool.
Yeah.
What was the name of the place when your teammates first opened it?
It was Tactical Airsoft Arena. So
Tactical Airsoft Arena. Okay, tactical. Yeah.
Got it.
So my friend John, he was the original owner of Tactical Airsoft Arena. And he's been running it, and the business was chugging along for a while, 4 or 5 years, I think.
Before you get into that, what were you doing at the time? Were you airsofting for a living, or were you having like
no? I had a 9-to-5 job. So I got my MBA. I had kids. I had a job where I was a partner at a local public relations agency. Mm-hmm. So I'd done that for 15 years. Before I got seriously into airsoft owning business. And the part where I come in is that John, after about 5 years, decided he wanted to get out of the business. So he actually closed up shop, and for about a month the business was closed. And in the meantime, he was talking to me, a mutual partner, a friend of ours, along with my brother, and trying to get us to kind of buy the business from him. And he saw it as an opportunity to get out of the business so he can spend more time with his family. And I had been traveling so much for work and spending so much at work. I actually saw this opportunity as a way to see more of my family as well, to do something like this as a source of another income.
This is kind of a dream scenario because he needed out, you needed in, you needed something that was a change of pace. And you didn't have to build a business; you just turned the key. So I bet that was a lot easier to sell to the wife. You know what I mean? Like, because definitely going from like a white collar travel the country PR job, which is I'm assuming pays quite well, and coming to your wife and going like, okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna sell toys. You with me?
She initially she thought it was a crazy idea, and it's not like I jumped right into it. Mm-hmm. I when I first got into this, I kept my day job. And I was doing kind of both for a while.
Oh, I bet that sucked.
The great thing is we had this guy named Kevin, hopefully he's watching as well. And he was, willing to manage the place. He was already a manager at the place, so he knew the ins and outs. I really had only played there, kind of freeloading off my friend John for a long time. So I didn't know the ins and outs of the business as well as Kevin and some of the other guys did. So we had kind of built-in management already that we didn't have to, look for that. So that made it a lot easier where I could just go.
So you were lucky enough to buy a business and then have the employees educate you on how to run the business, essentially.
Exactly.
Is it Kevin Chu? Because he's in the chat.
It is.
Ah, he commented Magruder.
Can we?
Magruder.
That was a skit from Saturday Night Live.
Oh,
it was
Magruder.
It was like the MacGyver knockoff. Can we just get some love for Kevin in there for because he's it's the employees. It's not. I mean, it's great that the owners own this stuff.
Yeah,
but
Tab is one of the partners.
Manager of
Tactical Airsoft Arena.
He was one of the owners there for the Rockville location.
Oh, very cool.
Jamie Lorette says, shout out to our Tactical Airsoft Arena Players Discussion Facebook group. We need more people to join.
Good plug, Jamie.
Also, by the way, hey, Portugal, love to see you're with us, Francisco. Hope you guys are staying safe over there.
Black Wolf.
Heard you guys are all locked down. I've actually seen, speaking of which, just not to get off topic, but have you guys been seeing the balcony parties people have been doing in Italy and Spain and Finland? Yeah, basically people just start playing music. Like DJs just bring all their equipment out and start playing music, and everybody comes out on their balcony, starts partying, has a beer together. So I saw a great video actually from Portugal where it was a whole apartment complex that were playing music.
There's going to be some cool. I've seen a lot of. There's going to be some cool things that actually come out of this that people never thought of doing because of the restrictions that they have that are actually going to turn into things, which is actually kind of cool.
You know what I've done?
Oh, people are getting super creative.
Yeah. Cooking at home. We've totally gone back to eating almost every meal at home. And it's
I know.
Shocking how much money you save when you stop picking up takeout and stuff like that on your way home.
I made Korean barbecue last night with
how was that?
Filipino lumpia.
Ooh, that's a combination. Actually, you know what? I'd call that the Camp Casey special. Because all the people, all the chicks that work in the bars around Camp Casey are Filipino, but all the restaurant owners are Korean. So you have like this weird mix of like Korean and Filipino dishes on like the same menu sometimes because they're catering to the bar girls. So it's always that's
and when I fry up lumpia, it's like
don't get me started. No, we're going down this road.
Minimum 4 dozen. Minimum.
Down the road.
So we're going to be eating lumpia through the weekend.
You know what I introduced this guy to when we were in LA was Korean fried chicken. I forgot the name of it. Yeah, that's a winner right there. A little spicy.
Though. David Pollock says, what a mouthful. What's TAA stand for again?
Tactical Airsoft Arena.
So that's tactical?
Yep, tactical.
Okay, just want to make sure of that.
So, taking over and pretty much being a turnkey solution and already having a manager in place, what were some of, just because your experience with marketing as an undergrad and then getting your MBA, what were some of the improvements that you made, starting off as you took over?
I think, after a month of being closed, it's kind of funny because the old adage of you don't know what you have until it's gone. We got so much feedback during that month that we were closed because people were like, oh, we have nowhere to play anymore because indoor and outdoor airsoft is really different. People that really like indoor airsoft, they really like indoor airsoft.
They're weirdos. That's all I'm going to say right now.
That's a special breed.
I'm good for indoor about once every 2 months because I want to at least let the open wounds heal before I go back and play again.
It's funny you mentioned that because the number one complaint that we get is our FPS is too low. But then they come play, and then they get shot. They're like, wait, what is this?
Oh, I'm with you, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's mostly because I'm like a big girl about it. I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm just saying like I'm only good for so much pain in a day of fun.
Yes. He likes to upgrade his gun, sit on the back of the pitch on an outdoor field, and see who he can pick off.
I'm a scumbag. I pick on rental players all day long, and I'm the first one to tell you I do it.
I remember
you want to get us two moving. Like when we're playing against other people, we'll just kind of sit back and pick people off, but then we'll see each other on the field and we're like, we'll get up and we just start moving.
So the problem is we charge each other and we're getting to that age where we got one good charge left in us and then we have to go sit down for like 2 hours and miss the next 3 games.
I remember, I think this was for our second year grand reopening anniversary up in Rockville. We had Aaliyah, P90 girl, come play at our field. And she played in a t-shirt and her arms got lit up and she looked like she had chicken pox for like a couple of weeks. But it was awesome. She had so much fun and she was like posting about how to get rid of these, pop marks on your arms and things like that. So
What I think is really fun is that indoor airsoft players, it's kind of like it's one of those hidden cults that no one knows about. And I remember once when I first started playing, I was playing a lot of indoor because I didn't know there was anything else. I just airsoft obsessed. That's all I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I remember standing in line to get a soda somewhere, and a guy walked up behind me and tapped my arm, and looked at it and goes, "Yeah, you had a good Saturday." And I was like, "What is this guy doing to me?" And then he rolls his sleeve up, and his forearms look like he has skin cancer or something horrible, just like I do. And I'm like, "Oh, did you play this weekend? Where'd you play at?" And we had a whole conversation in line about airsoft, and everybody's just looking at us like we're crazy people.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like the hidden society of pain. You know what I mean? That's really a fun thing.
Doug Smith and Jamie Lorette are talking about pancit. Noodles and
Speaking of which, Brandon Wilnant's got a quick question for you. That's right on topic. What was the biggest obstacle to come over when you became an owner? Like, I guess transferring from being a player to someone who runs the business, I guess in that aspect is what he meant. Tell me if I'm wrong, Brandon.
I think it's the personnel, right? You have to have people that fit within your organization. And I think our managers have done a great job in finding kind of guys that mesh well, because, it takes one bad cog in the wheel to kind of screw things up, right?
So speaking on that topic, I know a lot of our younger audience, their number one question we get all the time when we open the phone lines up is, how do I get in the industry? And the most visible part of the industry for most people is their local field. So when you guys are looking for employees, what are you looking for? Are you looking for fanboys? Are you looking for people who don't know anything about airsoft and bring other skills? Like, how do you select employees for the field?
So we like to get to know people before we actually hire them. And, I think the way that they play says a lot about who they are, because you get guys that, have hit calling issues. That they're not the most honest players. So people like that, we obviously don't want to hire them. So, if we observe them because they play at our field all the time. And we talk to our refs and say, what do you think about this guy? And if they give us a thumbs up, that's when we take them to the next step and start really talking to them.
So it's more of an apprenticeship thing, and you guys are, instead of hiring police for the field, you're more hiring leaders that are setting the example.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Cheez It Lang says, honestly, for all those that aren't staff members of Tactical Airsoft Arena that are watching this video, you guys being part of the airsoft community is what makes this hobby great.
I mean, hell, how many hobbies out there do people pay money and then come help out and clean up at the end of the day? You know what I mean? Like, where do you have a community that does that? Like, you don't have concerts where people like go party for a weekend and they're like, you know what? I'm going to stay half a day and help pick up trash. You know what I mean? Like, you don't find that in other places. That's rad.
Brian Stroud's like, now I'm curious how I get hired.
Ooh. So if you would like to be hired by Tactical Airsoft Arena, send your resume, courtesy of Peltast, to Tactical Airsoft Arena, fill in the blank, Manassas, Virginia.
I can just imagine how Cheez It saying, "Oh, because you're so handsome." Oh, Joe Reynolds, he is in here.
Nice.
Joe says, y'all only hired me because I'm famous, y'all selfish.
He cashed in all his exposure bucks to get that statement as well. He did. I know it's unfortunate. Worth it.
I gotta give some laughs on that one, man. That was pretty funny. Okay. Where are we at?
Yeah, where are we at? Because I got lost.
You got lost too?
Well, I don't have a screen in front of me, so I have to rely on you to
so how long were you open before you decided to have a second location, and why in the world would you want to do that?
Yeah, that's a big step, man.
I still have to ask that question myself. So I guess about 2.5, 3 years. Like I said, I was kind of doing 2 jobs. I owned a location up in Rockville, and I was still working this other job. But I was kind of getting burned out from this other job. Like I said, I'm traveling a lot, spending a lot of time away from my family. It's really stressful work. So I was looking for a way to kind of decompress and get out of that business. And my idea was that I was going to first start this new location and then kind of start other small businesses where I would be able to generate some income.
So you would be like a tactical entrepreneur?
Exactly. but I don't know if but I don't know how tactical the other businesses would have been.
Sorry, I'm enjoying this episode so much.
Wait. Hold on, Seuk.
Yeah.
Wait, are you taking a tactical pause?
I am. I gotta take a knee here because Joe Reynolds says, "Oh, I thought Joe was saying he had to go to bed." Because it was like, no, Joe is telling random guy Kev to go to bed because it's past his bedtime.
Is he not old enough to be out?
I don't
Is he turned into a pumpkin? Is it random pumpkin Kev now?
Oh. Sorry,
please continue.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, so about
He's gonna pick it back up.
2-3 years into owning this other location up in Rockville, there, like I mentioned before, there was no indoor airsoft fields in Virginia. So I saw an opportunity to open one here. I know that there was somewhat of a demand because there used to be this old indoor airsoft field called ACQB, Airsoft CQB, in Manassas that closed down probably 6-7 years ago. And that place used to be fairly busy. They used to get a fairly loyal following because that was the only player in town. I think there used to be one other.
Can I interrupt you real quick? So,
of course.
What you're talking about right now is actually seeing if the customers are there before you're implementing your business, basically.
Yeah.
So, real quick for our audience, if you guys are planning to open a shop or open your field, this is the kind of stuff you need to start thinking about, because it's not just about open the business and then everything falls into place, because there has to be a certain customer base there to get it rolling.
And don't go asking your airsoft friends,
Yes,
how to go about doing it. Actually go ask successful business owners that don't know anything about airsoft and pick their brains, because they have a successful business for a reason. I mean, successful business models can work with doesn't matter what you're selling.
Yeah.
But don't ask your airsoft friends.
sorry, we just love doing educating here. Please continue, brother, because this is awesome.
Yeah, and that's a great point. I actually get a number of people coming up to me and asking me how they get into airsoft, or how they can start their own field, how they can start their own store. And I talk to them about it. I try to be as honest as possible. It's not all a beautiful paved yellow brick road, right? It's a lot of bumps along the way, and especially for an airsoft field, because the first location that I purchased from my friend John was a turnkey, kind of an easy experience. I had no idea how bumpy it was going to be, let alone,
even just finding your supply chain. If you're not really into airsoft, where would you even make your first phone call?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Valken is good company to make your first phone call to.
We were supplying him stuff, from the first location.
That's the thing. That's your first step. Where do I even call to order stuff not retail? Because I've talked to people opening fields that have been ordering for Amazon. No, I know. I'm just
he worked at a PR agency. He's got his MBA. I bet his network on the sales and marketing side is huge.
And I'm just saying that not everybody has those advantages, so he might be.
So if you want to open up an airsoft field and an airsoft store like Tactical Airsoft Arena, ask Seuk. Send him a message. He'll hook you up.
So I attended SHOT Show for the first time last year, and that's an amazing place where you can network, meet everybody in the industry, and kind of and if you're seriously thinking about starting an airsoft store or field, I'd say that's about as good a place as any.
Really?
To kind of go there and meet all the vendors. Where else can you meet all the vendors at one place?
And you know what? I'm tagging Rob Pierce, because why he is not here supporting one of his dealers in the chat
is another
just unexcusable.
Shame Rob Pierce episode?
We're going to shame Rob
Shaming
Pierce.
Rob Pierce this episode and every episode from this point on.
So
he's quarantining.
So okay, hold on.
Are we lost?
Yep.
No, I know what I want to say. So you're working with the city of Manassas.
I am.
What were some of those, once you had the location, what were some of the challenges that you had to deal with the city?
What is local politics like?
Oh, wait. You should set the background of what it kind of looks like.
So
and where it's
before
close to.
you answer this, I'm going to give our audience real quick. For everybody who has never been to the DC area or lived there, Maryland is generally a blue state, and Virginia is kind of a red state. At least when I lived there, it's changing a little bit now.
It used to be a red state, yeah.
And so in the areas around DC, those ring cities on the Virginia side are actually more blue than they are red. and there's still some blue collar stuff on the Maryland side outside DC. So the rest of the state and right outside DC don't match. So if you're hearing, so this story doesn't make sense, and you hear Virginia and like that's normally an okay place for 2A stuff. Even back then, right around Manassas, Arlington are still relatively blue areas. So that's kind of setting the backdrop for you. So please continue.
Yeah. Yeah, so Virginia is very divided. So there's Virginia, and then there's Northern Virginia.
Yep.
Unfortunately, we're part of Northern Virginia, which is very anti-2A, very liberal.
And I'm assuming they just
a,
saw your business as camis and guns, and they didn't see anything past that.
Well, I think the biggest issue that we had, and Bob, I think we forgot to discuss this portion, but the biggest problem that we had was this previous previous airsoft location that existed in Manassas before didn't quite do things by the books. So yeah.
What? So not only were you trying to introduce an idea to someone who wasn't necessarily for it, but you also had to make up ground from the last guy who screwed it up for
exactly.
you. Okay.
Exactly. So it was an uphill challenge.
What are some of the things you ran into?
There's a lot of hurdles. They certainly didn't make things easy for me. So there's a couple of challenges in what to classify this, because we're not a store. We have a store, but the bulk of the business is the indoor playing field. The challenge of that is it a recreational facility? Is it a pub? I think there's a code for public gathering space if it's going to be over 40 players. So there's a lot of challenges in what to classify it, the zoning process that went back and forth.
Well, yeah, because what do you call an airsoft field? I mean, you could actually, if you put cameras up, you could call it a film set if you really wanted to. I mean, honestly,
film studio or whatever. Oh, hey, Rob Pierce finally decided to join us in the tactical shaming. Tactical shaming. Tactical. We'll continue. He actually, Seuk, he misspelled your name.
Rob, it's all right. I'll give him a pass.
He spelled it as suck, and I think that we should take that personally and hold it against him. I mean, really, that seems like a deliberate misspelling. Huh?
I know Rob has kids too, so he's not
And if anybody in the chat can DM me if they've got a funny picture of Rob, I will send you something well worth it.
Preferably without his shirt on. If you have a beach picture of Rob, we want it.
And then it's got to come with a story.
Yes, yes. So the local population, the local city government's not super stoked about having what looks like a militia meeting in the middle of their city every week, because that's how they look at things.
So this is what they do.
What do they do?
Well, the parking lot really isn't up to code, so we can't really have you there. What would you say?
So that was the first hurdle. How'd that work?
Yeah. So I had actually signed an original lease for a different location, a different building that we're situated in now. It was a perfect place. The owner was great. He was fantastic to work with. I had this giant place that we can make the field into, and initially, the city was super stoked about having a place like ours there because they had no other businesses like this where they were attracting, what they wanted, family-friendly businesses where they were attracting.
And it gets kids off the street, gives them something to do.
Exactly.
Same as parks or skate parks or any of that stuff,
So the only other types of businesses that are in this little place called Manassas Park is like auto body shops. There's some restaurants, there's like taekwondo places, things of that nature. So there was nothing like
anything that needed like a big cavernous space, essentially.
Exactly. So they were thrilled about it in the beginning, but then a couple months goes by and they come back and say, oh, you know what, the parking in this building is not ideal. So I had to hire somebody to draw up new parking lot in the back that had all the space, and so we got over that hurdle. And then they said, oh, you know what, this is going to impact the traffic pattern during the weekends when you guys are busy. So I have to hire an engineer to do traffic pattern analysis. So we got over that.
So here's what's happened. Seuk is at home plate, right, with his bat. And they're pitching him this stuff. And he's just knocking it back to him.
Oh, yeah, curveball after curveball.
And he's doing it right.
And here's the worst part. They're not even throwing it at the plate. They're throwing it into the stands. He's running out to the stands, hitting the ball back. And then going back to the plate every time, like going above and beyond.
So
what
how long did this go back and forth?
For 8 to 9 months.
Wow. Yeah. And I have to say, congrats on finally succeeding, because I know lots of people who I have friends.
Wait. He didn't succeed at first.
Not at that location. So,
not this first 9 months.
Oh, it's still going?
Yeah, no.
Oh, I want to hear that.
So after 8 to 9 months, the city basically said, you know what, this isn't going to work out. So I had to scrap that idea, and we're scrambling to try to find a new place. And so luckily we happened to have to kind of this one place kind of fell on our laps. I took a look at it, and when I first saw it, I immediately ruled it out. It's like, you know what, this isn't going to work out. The store is going to be up top on the main floor. The field's in the basement, and the basement has this giant wall dividing the two sections.
Yeah,
so it's not going to work out.
I think we have a tour of that.
Do we have a tour real quick?
Yeah.
I think we do have a tour. Hold on. So while he's talking about this,
keep going. We're just pulling the graphic.
So when I first got shown this space, I immediately counted it out and said, you know what, this is not going to work out. And we looked at the other spaces that were either, the Goldilocks. It was like too hot, too cold. There's nothing that's just right. There was places that were too small. There's places that are too big that weren't willing to divide it. There were places that are, that just we weren't going to be able to get the zoning approved for certain places because you have, everything has to kind of be perfect.
So the video we're watching right now, this is all underground, is where this is.
Oh, look,
it
there's
is.
the
it
big
is.
wall.
So the field.
That's pretty long.
Now,
walking all the way to
from
the
what
back.
you just described, it looked like made me think that this is like super chopped up. But that big wall, you guys have really worked with it. There's a lot of angles, a lot of flow here. I mean, that's rad to see. Sorry, I just got really into the video.
You can tell in the video he's actually there's more than just one doorway that goes through there. You can actually see a couple.
You know what this reminds me a lot of? High Ground down in Houston, I think. And the one thing, what's his name?
This looks way bigger. What's the size of this playable area?
It's about 8,000, just shy of 8,000 square feet, 7,900 square feet.
No, I wasn't saying the size. I'm saying the flow. You remember what's his name? Who runs that down there? I can't think off the top of my head. Who runs High Ground? Kurt. Yeah, sorry. I'm having a brain fart, but. What Kurt said and what you guys have accomplished here is he said any good indoor should have a flow through the spawn. Mm-hmm. So you can kind of like run by the spawn and get anybody who's there and then do a lap around the field if you're like, on a kill streak. And you guys definitely have what looks like a good flow. I kind of want to get in the car right now.
How do you keep kids from shooting out like lights and security cameras and all that other stuff?
That's a challenge. So kind of going back to the beginning. So like I said,
we got lost.
It's all right. But when I first saw the space, I ruled it out because there was this big giant wall in the middle. But the more and more I think about it, you know what? This is not that bad. It's it's underground, which means it's going to be cooler during the summer, which is awesome, right? Because indoor fields, we have such a hard time kind of keeping.
And especially you got all those speed softers running around with their sweatshirts and their hoodies and their wool caps on. I'm surprised they're all not dead. I don't know how those guys do it in the summertime.
And because it's underground and there was that big giant wall, I thought maybe that wasn't load bearing, and so I talked to some engineers and thought, how much of this wall could we actually remove? Because if my idea was if we can get at least 2 kind of garage door size openings down there, we can make this work. Right?
So is this 2 separate fields or is this one field?
No, it's one continuous field. So one team will spawn on one side of the big wall, so to speak, and the other team will spawn on the other side.
What's the average number of players you guys get on this field? Sorry, that you want, like what you actually want on the field before you overload it?
It's about 40 to 50 we can handle.
Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Had more.
Yeah,
we've had more. Anything more than that starts getting a little crowded. We've had as much as 68 on there at one time.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Brian Stroud says, "I miss the old layout. Sad face."
Now, here's a question: are those walls relatively fixed, or can you move everything around if you want to?
We can move almost every. There's a couple of the spawn areas we kind of keep stable, but everything else we can move. And it's awesome because we get constant feedback from our players saying, oh, you know what? Because the 2 sides aren't perfectly even, because the wall is slightly off. So one side is slightly bigger than the other. So we're constantly making small changes to kind of what we call buff and nerf, like one side or the other.
Well, just to get that perfect angle of so no one has the long shot that they can cover the whole hallway with.
And because it's not perfectly symmetrical, one team often gets an advantage over the other. So we take that feedback into consideration.
That also like raises a lot of cool things you can do. You can do like your veterans team, your people who come every week versus all your rental players on the other side. Like, a lot of people look at these disadvantages and they rule stuff out. But what I'm hearing from you're just always thinking of a way to take advantage of it, and that's rad to hear.
And it's not that's not the worst thing in the world, because let's say if you're disadvantaged one game, so it's orange versus blue. We have armbands to identify the teammates. And if you're on this side, this game, then the next game we're switching sides. So you're on the other side. So,
So the way you guys run things is that you do like paired games. So it's like you do your safety brief. You guys go play one game, you switch sides, play the second game, and then everybody comes back out. Okay, cool.
So so sometimes we just we'll play one game, everybody comes back out, we'll play a different game. But if you had, like I said, if you had advantage one game, the next one you're gonna be on the other side. And we try to keep it fairly even. Like I said, we get a lot of feedback from players, which is awesome. And we're constantly making little tweaks to the field so that if somebody says, oh, there's this one angle where it can shoot clear down the hallway and get people that are coming out of respawn, we're like, oh, we don't want that. So we'll make little changes to close out that gap.
So here's the tough question. So I've heard from a lot of owners that they play their own field, but which do you prefer when you're working on field design? Do you go take your staff out and play with each other on the field so you can get your feeling for yourself, or are you trusting your play
against each other?
Sorry, play against each other, not play. Sorry, phrasing. Or do you want to completely trust the input of your customers? Which is the better way to do it?
So customer is king, right? I mean, they're the ones that are paying for it. I want them to have the best experience. So
you're catering it to them, not providing some curated experience that they're part of. Basically, is what you're saying.
So yeah, exactly. We try. So when our guys get bored or have spare time, they like to go downstairs and tinker with the field. And so we might get great feedback based on their tinkering, or we might get terrible feedback. And if they get terrible feedback, we'll kind of move it back to normal. But we try to cater to our player base as much as possible.
That's right here.
So Manassas is around 8,000 playable square foot. The store is above that. How much of the footprint is the store above?
The store is just under half, so it's about 3,700 square feet.
About half.
Oh, so you're sharing basement. You're actually you've taken over the basement of like the next 3 stores. That's cool.
So there's one other store next door. They're called Burger's Sewing Shop. I'm giving them a plug as well.
Hey, Burger. Is that a sewing shop or a burger store?
It's a sewing machine store.
If you need your sewing machine taken care of, Burger Sewing Machines in Manassas, Virginia.
And then how big is Rockville's playable area?
So Rockville's playable area is currently, it's about 3,700 square feet. But we are in the process during this downtime of actually making adjustments to the field. And when we open back up, the players will be in for a surprise.
Oh, very cool.
Okay, so here's the magic question. All right, because we've built Seuk up as this business
genius
savvy
guru.
I don't know about that.
Of tactical
a combination
Airsoft Arena.
of Bill Gates and Warren Buffett with a little of Sheldon Adelson sprinkled on top.
So you've got 2 indoor fields, different sizes, but even though they're about an hour and a half away from each other, 2 vastly different communities. How do you? I mean, do you just like, oh, we're going to get 20 guns and 10 of them are going to go to this location and 10 of them go to this location? Is it that easy, or does it take a lot more than that?
I wish it was that easy. That would make my job a lot easier. So when we first opened the Manassas location, I tried that for a while. So we would get 10, I'll give Rob a plug, Valken Kilo ASLs, right? I'll get 20 of those and send 10 to Rockville and 10 to Manassas. Well, after a month, we might be completely sold out in one location and have 9 left in the other. So that strategy didn't work quite well.
So are you seeing that there's like a different price point that people are looking for at the different location, or are they just looking for different features? Like what's the split up when you're figuring out your markets?
Yeah, if you could look at both locations, what's like the big thing that stands out?
Yeah, so me being kind of a numbers guy, I put everything into Excel spreadsheet.
I love numbers. Right? You're talking. No, say it slowly. I love numbers. That's my favorite. I love math, dude. Just slowly talk me through the charts. You got some Venn diagrams or pie charts or something I can look at? I love it.
Excel spreadsheet.
Ooh, yeah, talk dirty to me, baby. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, so I put things like that and see how, see what's selling where, and try to I come up with a theory or hypothesis and seeing why this is doing better in one location versus another, right? And really, I think kind of the length of time that we've been open at each location has a lot to do with it, because up in Rockville, we've been open for over 10 years now. So we have some of these seasoned players that have played, indoor airsoft hardcore for over 10 years. So I think those guys are more keen to kind of tinker with their own stuff, right? They buy, they might buy a mid-range thing, throw a Polar Star in there.
Hey, he's describing you.
Yeah, at least when I lived in that area, Rockville was still pretty blue collar. It's before it's before Lincoln Park got gentrified, and what's the other neighborhood right across? Twinbrook got they got all knocked down and turned into McMansions like it is now, and so at least in my experience, Rockville still had industry. Like that's where I got my start as a teenager. So like, has that kind of pervaded still on the Maryland side? Because Manassas was pretty lawyers and doctors when I lived in that area. Is it still the same?
I'd say it's a little bit different.
Okay.
So Rockville's part of Montgomery County, which is I believe it's one of the most wealthiest counties in the country.
It is the wealthiest county per capita in the country. If you don't remember this story, for people who are boxing fans, Mike Tyson. Remember, he punched that guy at the traffic stop. So my parents' house is right off Falls Road in Wooten there, right off 270. And where the Seven Locks jail is, a lot of people don't know, he actually punched that guy right in front of the county jail. So when they arrested him, they only had to take him like half a block to the county jail, which is right there at, I think it was Seven Locks and Wooten or something like that right there. Yeah. So like, this is I think Michael Jordan's house is like a mile and a half down the road from there when he used to own the Wizards. Like, it is a shockingly affluent area, and people don't realize it. Like, it's really scary rich.
Ethan is trolling you right now.
What is he trolling me with?
Oh, he says Peltast watches tutorials on how to use spreadsheets to get his fix.
Oh no, I'm not doing tutorials anymore. I'm watching full people doing algorithms, baby. I want to know math predictions. I want to know probabilities.
What happens if you see an abacus?
I need some time alone.
Okay.
And that's all we're going to say about that.
But I think just because it's an affluent area doesn't mean they're going out and buying the most expensive, the new ZFCs and things like that. They're taking kind of the mid-range things and throwing their Polar Stars, HPA, throwing in the high-speed gears and the high torque motors.
So are you guys doing work at the shop, or this is just what you're selling?
We are. No, we do upgrades as well, but it's like I said, there's so many experienced players out there. I think they're doing their own tinkering, right?
So you probably sell a lot of upgrade parts in
upgrade parts.
Rockville a lot more than you do Manassas.
And services are Manassas, basically. So Manassas is service and then parts up north. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
cool.
But in Manassas, it's a fairly new store, so we have a lot of the newer players that kind of are just picking this up, that are just trying this. And those, believe it or not, they're the ones that if they really like it, they'll spend the money to buy the higher end stuff, which is kind of counterintuitive, but that's the way that I've seen things happen, right?
No, I think that can make sense.
Oh, somebody's asking you a question.
Am I getting asked a question? Who asked me a question?
He's like, wait, are you a Wooten alum or a Churchill alum?
No, I went to Richard Montgomery, and my wife went to Churchill. So if you were wondering, I'm from Rockville. For you guys in that area, my wife is from Bethesda, and she's just as hoity-toity as you think, being from Bethesda. I grew up in Brooklyn, and then I went to high school down at Richard Montgomery, and when I graduated, I left Maryland and never came back. Because unfortunately, it's if you guys are wondering why, and Seuk will back me up on this, it's an expensive place to live in the Beltway.
It is.
If I had my house here in Colorado Springs is about $130 for 1,900 square foot. If that was outside where my parents live in Rockville, it would be about a $500,000 house. It's very expensive to live there, and as a soldier, I didn't make a whole lot of money, so I stayed here in Colorado.
So let's talk more about the Manassas. So the Rockville folks, more mid to upper level. They like to tweak their stuff, tune their stuff. So what is like Manassas just happy out of the box kids, or what?
Or do they not know any better?
So they like out of the box stuff, and they'll play with it for a while, but then nobody's ever happy with anything out of the box for a super long time. So we do a lot of upgrading for them, but we see that we're upgrade. Like I said, they're not tinkering with a few of them are, but there's not as much players that are down in Manassas tinkering with their own stuff.
So from what I'm hearing, HPA seems to be king in your area. Is that just no one even bothers doing AG, builds, or they just go straight to HPA?
No, I think HPA. I'm not a big fan of HPA, but a lot of people are.
Oh, you're a man
but
after my own heart. I think I'm still terrified of tanks. I want to do it. It's just a lot of money, and I'm terrified of the tanks. So anybody who prefers AEG, you're just a man after my own heart. Dude.
And plus, you're tethered to this line. Oh, I love gas blowback.
Everybody forgets about gas blowback
There
when
is
you start talking about HPA.
No. And if we're going to talk about forgetting about stuff, AEPs are the forgotten section.
Yes.
There's a lot of people probably watching this like, AEP, what is that?
Automatic electric pistols, small tiny
I actually
gearboxes.
I actually have every single Tokyo Marui AEP. So Glock.
Do you really?
MP7, Scorpion, and Mac 10.
But not here in America because there's no such thing as an airsoft Glock.
Is it a tactical Mac 10?
It's got a little what is it? Canvas strap up front. So I guess you can call it tactical.
I remember seeing pictures back in the day of like commando guys rocking that in movies, and all I could think is, how do you not shoot your hand off? Like someone has to have a hole in their hand after using that gun for so long.
That's a funny story. I recently I hadn't played in a while, and I recently kind of been trying to get back into it. So I've been playing more Fridays. Wait,
you're playing on your own field?
I am.
Do you announce I am the owner and no one can shoot me, or you just roll in there undercover?
No, I cheat all the time.
This game's a lot easier if you don't call your hits, dude.
I try to go in undercover because every time I try to kind of go, and if people see me, they're like, "Oh, look, it's Seuk," and they either want to all shoot me or like stay out of my way for some reason.
Because like you're gonna kick them off the field if they get you out or something. Like
no, I don't know why. But going back to shooting your hand, so I have a Magpul FPG. You guys know what that is?
That's a suitcase one that flips out, right?
Yeah, it's a little
looks
box
like a pistol case.
Yep. Yeah.
So
GoldenEye. It's a GoldenEye gun.
Right, but it was like people were looking at it going like, "Oh my gosh, what is that?" And people were kind of shocked. But then like they sold out fast.
So I used to have two of them. I had a white one, and then I had a black one, and I sold the white one a long time ago. Yeah.
Bet you're kicking yourself in the butt for that one.
Yeah. Apparently they're worth a lot of money now.
Well, because you can't get them. Like it was one of those things that when it's like, because I'm a Subaru guy when it comes to cars, and everybody hates the new WRX when it comes out, or STI. But you give it 5 years, and everybody's like, "That's the most gorgeous car ever, and I have to have it." It seems to be like that syndrome, you know?
Wait. No. There's some comments about what Seuk is talking about. Nick Cantrell is like, "Oh, Seuk bragging about his AEP collection again." And then Cheez-It's like, "No, Seuk likes to go for butt shots."
Only.
Oh, yeah, and Jamie's like, "Seuk doesn't call his hits."
Wait, he has a pink FPG? That's not very tactical.
I think Jamie or his brother has a pink FPG, but I have the black one. Last time I was playing with it, I was shooting, and as I was switching hands, I went shoulder this way, and my finger was right in front of the barrel. I shot my finger.
Oh!
It hurt so bad. Because it has no barrel. It's just a hole in front of the gun. So it's and has this little tiny foregrip that's about this long.
Not to get off topic, but I just had a great idea. So like you like to play your own field incognito. We know someone else who likes to play his own field incognito.
Who?
Psycho.
Oh,
Psycho loves that.
Well, yeah, but I mean, once he throws his white
i5
on,
we don't know if he's not doing the same. Like
they recognize Seuk by his guns, dude.
I have some loud, like gas blowbacks. I have some loud replicas.
More, what I was thinking is, what if we had like the owner exchange program? Like we sent him to another field to go play on that field for the day, and like send an owner to his field for the day. Like we could do it like like a wife swap type of thing. I think that'd be a great web show. What do you think?
No, we should have Seuk on one end leading a team, and Rob Pierce on the other end leading a team.
Why Rob?
No offense to Rob. I think I can.
No, that would be awesome.
But who's going to follow Rob? It's going to be a team of one. It's not going to be very fair.
Oh my god.
That's right. Shit on Rob Pierce this episode and every episode. We love you, Rob.
Oh my goodness.
We only roast the one we love.
So you have two locations. How do you split up your time between the locations?
So luckily, because like I said, our Rockville has been open for so long, we have great management up there that's been in place for a long time.
So you're saying Manassas is a problem store, is what you're saying?
No, It's newer. So Manassas has only been open for about a year and a half now. So it's been so much hands-on for me to get the place up and running and to get, so I'm in the process of trying to see which of the guys there, because we have one manager, Mary Beth, who works at both locations. She works up in Rockville and Manassas, but she's not doing every day that we're open down in Manassas. So I'm trying to see either which of our guys is good enough to be able to manage the store, or if I need to hire somebody to be able to manage the store.
So how does this hiring process work? Is it kind of like a Hunger Games thing? Do you throw a bunch of guns on the field and like say, may the odds be ever in your favor? Is there
no, that would be the best, because I bet you like Seuk uses like his own guns, like a GBLS and the FPG.
Well, one of them is real. There's one
I do have a
real
GBLS.
steel
Oh,
gun.
there's one real
steel. It only has one round. It's the golden gun, so that whoever finds the golden gun may win. Or may not,
True.
You guys seen those ones where the guys fold pizza boxes as fast as they can? I have the one where they're picking up tracer BBs on as fast as they can. Whoever picks up the most tracer BBs, right?
You picked up 1,446 BBs. Bobby picked up 1,447. Steve,
Unfortunately,
you're the weakest link.
We're not tracers.
You gotta separate them as you pick them up.
Hold on. Joe says Seuk has never shot him. I think Joe's going to be picking up tracer BBs next time.
Either that, or he's going to end up getting shot in the store somehow. Oop! A negligent discharge. I don't know how this happened. I'm sorry. Was that your arm?
Oh my goodness. So you have Rockville's been open about 10 years.
Rockville's smooth sailing. Manassas is great, but it unfortunately does require more of me to be there and more hands-on. I'm trying to transition away from that so I can either not be there all the time or be able to play when I'm there more, which would be nice.
So is your end goal to be have tactical airsoft arenas,
tactical,
like a franchise in every city? Is that what you're going to here? Because I keep hearing that you're trying to spend less time at a location, and I'm not saying that you're not interested in being in your business, but from what it sounds like, you're trying to set things up so you can go to the overall kind of God mode, I guess is the way to describe it, the big overview. So is there an arena coming to my town soon at some point?
So that thought had crossed my mind at some point, but because of all the hurdles and things that we went through to try to get this Manassas Place location open, it kind of put a real bad taste in my mouth. I'm like, I never want to go through this.
So you don't want to go
again.
through the same process with just a different municipality and have to learn all the ins and out of it. And so, But if you franchise, that's someone else's problem. They just pay you a franchise fee. You send them some guns and a field map, and then you don't have to worry about it.
It's like the game truck. Go ahead.
I think it differs from municipality. So I think, where we opened the Manassas location, while the location is great, the people are great, customer base is awesome, I think just the city is more challenging to work with, especially given that there was this other location that, didn't play by the rules. So, it could be better if you open somewhere else. But like I said, it's kind of soured me on the whole thing. I'm not really interested.
I see what Joe Reynolds just said.
really hope that you maybe get over that in the future, because the big thing is opening places everywhere. There's a market. I know people are driving, and we need more people like you who are willing to expand and grow, especially to not even expand their location,
a successful model too.
No, it's and I feel for players that don't have the opportunity to play an indoor arena and locally, because we get players coming from, we talked about earlier how, Kevin is in New Jersey. We get players coming from 4 hours away, like Norfolk, Virginia, which is, I think, 4 hour drive. They come up once a month to play at our Manassas location. Which
our
is amazing.
local field here is 45 minutes away. So I have to drive to Denver to play because we are kind of in a dry spot here in terms of fields that are open.
I don't know where he's playing. I play 10 minutes up the road.
Where?
Covert Ops.
They're only open one day every 2 weeks, and they just opened up for Airsoft again.
They're open every weekend.
Are they? I thought Airsoft
not
was
right now.
Well,
but...
yeah, but no, but okay, so they just opened back up for Airsoft after not having Airsoft for a while. Yeah. And so up until that point, which was like a month before the COVID started, so I hadn't got a chance to go there.
Me and my son play there all the time.
Why don't you invite me?
You weren't hired yet.
So this is. Wait a minute, your timeline sucks. I'm moving on. Moving on.
So in terms of just pure airsoft, the DMV or the DC, Maryland, Virginia area is actually great for airsoft. There's tons of places to play.
Yeah.
Now indoor airsoft, there's not a lot.
So, damn it, can we pull this back up again? I got
So,
lost.
Rockville's been going strong, 10 plus years. Manassas about year and a half, 2 years now.
Yep, about a year and a half.
So you've got it. You're cooking with Crisco. You got both your babies running, and then this wonderful little thing called COVID-19
Oh yeah.
hits.
So how are you guys reacting to it? Have you guys had to lay off? Are you guys furloughing people? Is there?
Yeah, we haven't had to lay anybody off, but this, for most of the guys working for us, it's a part-time job, right?
Well, that's good to hear.
they
So
work with-
this
yeah,
is more
so
of
it's not
this is their
their-
hobby job, we call it.
Yeah. So it's not their primary source of income.
That's good to hear.
It's more of a club, but I do feel for them because this was a great place where they came, hung out with their friends, played airsoft. One of the perks of working at an airsoft field is that you get to play for free, right?
Well,
so
it's like
they
a
come
work-
play quite often.
It's like a work study program. Like, that's what I always tell my wife is that all my hobbies somehow like right this turned into kind of jobs. And even if they don't pay very well, if at least my hobby doesn't cost anything anymore, that's a win.
Well, no, here's the secret that employees probably don't know that every owner knows, which Seuk's probably going to kill me, is all you're going to do is just take your paycheck and just spend it at the store.
I'm not saying that I've dumped some paychecks back into Valken, but I've dumped some paychecks back into Valken.
Yeah, we have a number of guys that basically work for free.
Just work on store credit?
because they just keep buying stuff.
You just come into work, you're like, all right, when should I schedule you? I need you to work 20 hours this week to pay off your tab.
Oh my goodness.
How many bottles of BBs did I earn today?
Oh my gosh. So
At least it makes accounting simpler. You just counted all his samples and they'll pay taxes one way or another. Everybody's good.
So it seemed like the whole COVID thing ramped up pretty fairly quickly. There was some folks still holding on, and then it was like 2 weekends ago. Finally, people were like, "Sorry,
it's been done."
Gotta.
Once Florida decides to close things, then that's about the last holdout always.
So
It was crazy because every day we were getting new news coming out. It was such a fluid situation. We had no idea, and you're getting such a divide, right? Where you're hearing some rubbish from one side and some craziness on the other side, and you try to process all that information and put it together, and you don't know what to think. So we were just kind of playing a wait and see game for a little bit, but then obviously we had to take action because the government is telling you basically, you shouldn't go outside, you can't operate business, it's only for
and that opens you up to some legal issues too, because if you've been advised not to have
Oh,
groups
yeah.
of people, and then you get highlighted as a place where an infection has spread, that
Definitely.
can hold you legally liable. So
last week we talked about there's a field in the Rockies region. We won't say it's not Colorado. That they're actually the player base is actually bragging like, oh, we had 153 people at our field this weekend. I mean, when you see that, I mean, what do you think, Sue?
That's a scary thought. I know that there was an arrest made in Maryland for a guy that had a party, and I think he had 50 or 60 people. So, it's literally against the law to do something like that right now. So, and we don't need another black guy for airsoft, right? We don't need.
We just had that. There was our sport just hit like the main page of a lot of news services. You guys remember that guy in New York?
Yeah, the guy in New York. Yeah,
just filming on his roof.
Yeah.
Like he was just doing a photo shoot on his roof, and NYPD freaks out about it. Now, don't get me wrong. Like it's not a great idea, but that's once again realize where you are. I can get away with doing that in my front yard here in the Springs.
Yep.
But if I go up to Denver and do that, I'm having a talk with some cops, and I might spend some time in handcuffs because people are freaked out about it. So it's one more thing you don't need.
I live in New York, and you live in New York.
Yep.
I mean, it's literally the worst place to do something like that.
Yeah, if you don't know better and live there, so we just dealt with that as a community. We don't need another thing for people to point fingers at it, especially when everybody's
This is
scared.
why we can't have nice things
Because of Carl.
People cannot, make mature decisions.
I mean, we get so much negativity from all the YouTube videos that, like the mag dump videos and things like that. We don't need we don't need something like this to, I would cringe and be so sad if the news reported that you had this illegal, airsoft gathering of 150 players.
Yeah, especially if there was some people that got infected out of that. That would be like, you just feel terrible. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, do you have any upgrade plans for either of the fields during this time?
Yeah, so up in Maryland, we've been making a lot of changes to both the field and the store and staging area. And like I said, stay tuned for the players that are coming back to the field. When they come, they'll be kind of in for a surprise because we are trying to maximize the space that we have.
You're going to send us pictures, right? So we can see what's going on.
We're gonna send one of our correspondents to cover his reopening live. His name is Rob Pierce.
Yes, we are. Already scheduled.
He knows, and he's been at both locations, so he knows.
And the business is running a little lean right now, so he doesn't get a camera guy or a makeup guy. It's just him. He's got to do it all himself.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Oh, you don't want. I've seen his photos. They're not good.
They're just all selfies?
No, it's like, selfie, and like, Rob, you're not even in the picture. How can you call that a selfie?
Are you saying they're worse than mine? Because if you guys don't know, all the good selfies that I take, I just steal off his Facebook. All the ones that look all shaky and bad, that's me taking them, just so if you didn't know.
So, no, that's awesome that you're making improvements to the Rockford location.
But at the same time, I think, there's only so much we can do, right? Because I think the governor is actually telling us to not go out of the house unless it's absolutely essential. So
we got the same shelter-in-place order here in Colorado right now.
Yeah. So there's only so much we can do at this time. I think it's a shame, but there's our hands are kind of tied.
What are you doing with your time right now?
Spending a lot of time with my kids. They cancel school for the whole year. So
they literally just cancel it because we're in e-learning.
But that's going to happen to us too. Like, well, not for like you guys. Your kids are on a 12-month cycle, right? Like the full year, like both of them. So D11 is everything but canceled. They're just waiting next week to make the announcement that the school year's over, basically.
Yeah.
But like, it's all poised to do the same thing here too.
Yeah. So they're doing e-learning as well.
We're already cooking with Crisco on Chromebooks and everything.
I mean, we're still working, but like, it's.
I mean, my daughter's awesome. She's done by 1:00.
Well.
She's
brag.
7. I mean,
how do you e-learn with like Play-Doh and stuff like that? I wonder about that. Like, because I know Gabe was talking about doing PE earlier, and I was a little confused how you e-learn PE. Like, is that just a coach?
No, it was actually an app that had a timer and it had certain things. He was over here on the floor doing Supermans on the floor.
Does he have to towel snap himself? And then yell at himself to hurry up and get
I get to do that.
That's your job? Okay, just want to make sure.
That's why because I was actually having a conference call with a couple coworkers on the marketing team, and they were like, "Oh man, you're like, and no offense, but you sound like NCO Manor right now."
Front, back, go.
So, obviously spending time with kids. I mean,
it's a tough time for business owners. Obviously, I feel bad for everybody out there who's kind of lost work, lost wages, lost time. Especially, I mean, so people like me that are business owners, we'll get through this. We'll get through this somehow. But like the guys that work for me, they've been awesome, but they had their hours reduced as well, right? So they're not making the same income that they were before their time. So that's who I really feel for. I know that random guy Kev, who's on here, I know he started a GoFundMe for his local field, which is awesome. I know somebody else started one for, I think it's N7 in California. Things like that. Yeah. Things like that.
And there also, like last week we had Kate on. He was talking about doing the Airsoft Pub Crawl is what I don't know what they're calling it, something like that, where they have basically all the fields in the area are selling a ticket ahead of time, so when they open back up, you get like 3 weekends in a row at 3 different fields. And what I really love about that idea is not only does it get some income coming to the businesses when they can't get any income, and that's guaranteed attendance when they open back up, but you get customers who wouldn't normally go to some fields, go to someone else's fields, and that's just good for everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I have to address Jamie here real quick because he keeps mentioning it. Jamie, I'm sorry. You are not going to get your COD squad leader until this interview is over. Got it? I'm just telling you. I know you guys play COD every night.
Real quick, Fatco, showing you nothing but love. How's it going, Ryan?
You can still hear me.
So, are you doing anything, family is great, but I know probably like the rest of us, you're probably getting a little cabin
Squirrely?
fever, looking at
yeah.
the same faces every day. Are you doing anything for yourself?
I think timing is actually perfect because I'm actually starting my full-time. I'm training to be a airline pilot. I'm actually starting that next month on April or
Wait.
this month actually.
So are you getting your pilots? This is just for your own edification, or do you actually want to professionally start flying planes for a living in addition to all this?
So it's been a childhood dream of mine for as long as I can remember that I've always wanted to fly planes for a living. Fly planes. And, I'm taking that to another step where I'm like, you know what, I can do this for a living. So I'm
Wait. So when Joe Reynolds in the chat says you want to fly sky cars, he really means you want to fly sky cars.
Oh, yeah, like big jumbo jets, the whole works.
Not joking. That's apparently for real. That's really cool, man. I have to always applaud someone who realizes that life is very short. And you got to take advantage of cool opportunities while you're on this journey because, really, what's the point of being old and having a bunch of regrets? You know what I mean? Like,
so I feel like so last year I kind of when I had this time off between trying to get this place, or 2 years ago trying to get this place open and reflecting back on my life, I kind of had this epiphany. I'm like, you know what? I'm getting close to that age where it's now or never, right? I either pursue my dream or I just give up on it, right? And like I said, I've always had this kind of yearning to fly, and you know what? The pilots make pretty good money, so I'm like, you know what, maybe I can make a living out of this. So
not right now. They are not making.
Oh yeah, of course.
there is. And actually, I didn't notice that because normally we live right by the airport, and actually the approach is right over Bob's house because he's on the east side of town. I'm in more in the center of town.
No, the approach is not over my house.
Really, I thought you'd get planes all the time over here.
Nope, it's further that way.
Oh, so you lucked out.
Yep.
But we have the airport right on the edge of town. Not only that, Peterson's part of it. So planes landing and taking off are something we got to deal with all the time here.
Oh yeah.
I have not heard anything. I'm kind of liking this. I hate to say it, but I am sort of enjoying quarantine at this point. A little bit, not totally, just a little bit.
Dude, I love the Target drive up today.
Tell us about that. How was that?
There's no traffic in the DC area, which is crazy.
Oh, insane! Like, are you telling me 470 is empty?
No, yep, everything around here is empty.
Because if you guys don't know this, the ring road that goes around Washington D.C. is called 470, and for 495. Sorry, 495. 470 is the one that 270 runs up to West Virginia. Okay, 470 is the one around Baltimore, right? No, I don't know. Whatever. 495. Anyway,
land the plane, man.
I'm landing it. So this ring road, you guys in whatever small municipality you live in may bitch about traffic, but until you've sat in 12 lanes of stop traffic, and I'm not saying 12 lanes total, I'm saying 12 lanes on either side of the road stopped, you do not know what traffic is.
I mean, people that work in the Beltway, they have like a little studio apartment that they live at during the weekdays, and then they go home to their regular house on the weekends.
And the worst part
out of the
is the metro system in DC is terrible. It is hot poo-poo. It is garbage. I wonder, it doesn't take you anywhere.
I can imagine it's probably shut down because of the whole COVID thing too, because that's just like a hotbed of nastiness right there.
Just grossness under it. It's clean though. It doesn't take you anywhere, but it's very clean.
So, but I do encourage people to use like the drive up or the curbside service. So today I went to Target. And so, I'm scrolling my phone like everybody is. I'm like, oh, some stuff's on sale. And so then I'd ask the kids, hey, do you need something? Do you need something? And I make sure it's like, oh, it's available here. I place my order. I'm like, oh, drive up. So I pay for it. They said, oh, yeah, it'll be ready within 4 hours. So like 3 hours later, they ping me. It's like, oh, your order's ready.
So you forgot you ordered it at that point? Because
that
happens to me a lot.
But then they're like, tell us when you're on your way. So I'm like, boom, tell them when I'm on my way. I get there. I park in the designated parking. Like, I'm here. Literally, it's not even 2 minutes. This girl comes out, because you tell it what kind of car you drive and the color. And she just walked up to the back, popped the hatch, threw it in. I'm like, thanks. I was gone.
I'm down because I can't stand going to box stores. I hate being in big box stores, especially if we don't have like a plan when you're there because you can get lost real quick.
Oh, yeah. You went in to go spend $10 and you got a shopping cart of $200. Like, what happened?
I can't walk by anymore. It's more of a mental health thing, that box of DVDs at Walmart.
Oh, because the $5 bin?
Because remember when they used to have the $5 bin? It's not so much a thing anymore, but about 10 years ago, the $5 bin
they're still there, like Walmart
would suck me in, dude. Like, you just walk by and you're like, Oh, well, let's see what's in here.
Short Circuit.
Commando, Bloodsport. I love these movies, and they're only $5.
You can't do that right now. You'll catch COVID.
That is true. Also, I don't own hard copy. I'm all about streaming. I refuse to own hard copies of anything anymore.
So, Seuk, for anybody watching that's dealing with hardship, whether it's job loss or just other airsoft players, if you had any advice to share with our viewers or our listeners, what would you tell them?
Well, if there's business owners out there, I hope they know about some of the programs that are available to them. There's SBA loans, and some of them are for givable loans.
That's Small Business Association.
Yeah, yeah. So there's a calculation that you do that you submit forms for. I know for the other people that are working, it's a really hard time for them, especially if they've had their hours reduced or, not working at all. Hopefully that government check is coming fairly soon. Knock on wood. But I wouldn't rely on that. There are opportunities for them as well. There's grants out there. There's some places are still hiring. And I've seen signs at like the grocery stores now.
I know Amazon's hiring. I don't know if I want to work at the warehouse, but they are hiring.
Yeah. Now those places, I guess, are now deemed somewhat dangerous. I've read articles where they said grocery stores are putting themselves at risk every time they go to work. I don't know how seriously they take those.
Real quick, because we forgot to mention, for all you guys out there who are medical or police or first responders, the traditional essential personnel, and the people we've discovered now are also suddenly essential personnel, our grocery store workers, our hardware store workers, our delivery people. Thank you so much for guys sticking it out there. And I know maybe, I don't have, most of us don't have a choice whether we go to work or not because we got to pay bills, but we get that it is dangerous. We hope you guys are protecting yourself. And if you have to go to work, there's a lot of people working out there right now that are doing some mask options. I know my wife just received her autoclavable mask from Barefoot Outfitters, which is a community group which is making reusable masks for people who work in the medical field and constant exposure. And they're great because you can autoclave them, which means you can sterilize them within office equipment. So please look into that and search all the groups that are doing that stuff, because there is people out there helping you, and what you're doing is keeping our country running. Thank you so much, and please stay safe.
Chris Pananen from Enola Gay, he donated like 700 masks to one of his local hospitals.
Where did he get 700 masks from when we were all... Wait a minute, that raises more questions than answers. Where did these masks come from? He's not a hoarder.
And be careful what sources you're looking on Facebook. I mean, if it's not the Wall Street Journal or CNN or MSNBC, try not to spread the fake news.
Let's listen to doctors, guys. Like there's professionals at this that have been studying infectious disease control their entire life. The plague book that America's had hasn't changed for 60 years. There's nothing new under the sun in dealing with this. Please listen to doctors and scientists on this.
You know what
guys.
I heard today? They're recalling you.
Bullshit. No, I'm not going. I'm not going, dude. I don't care. Speaking of which, my buddy Brad just told me he got stop loss today and fenced in. He was supposed to be out of the Army next month, and they just canceled his get out of the Army leave, whatever that's called. Terminal leave? Yeah, terminal leave. So I told him, hey, how's it feel to be stop loss? Not so funny anymore, is it?
Right. Well, Seuk, thank you so much for taking the time tonight. I know
we appreciate it, brother.
You and I talked about a month ago about getting you on the show, and I mean,
things were a lot different back then.
Yeah, it was like, remember back before COVID-19? I remembered it,
So real quick before you go, man, what's your binge watching recommendation? What have you discovered for everybody? Anything weird? You can't say Tiger King.
But I've been watching that stupid Tiger show.
Yeah, I got to give it to you. By the way, Carol Baskin killed her husband and fed him to a tiger.
Definitely.
I'm saying that shit right now in front of the entire world. Feel free to sue me, tiger people. I don't care.
So what's your binge watching?
Tiger King I started. I'm actually going back through Community. Classic NBC, Justin Roiland, prototype of Rick and Morty. One of the classic, forgotten about TV shows from the late 2000s.
Me and Mrs. Kaiju are going back through and watching Chuck.
That's a good one. You know what? You know what show I wish they'd bring back that was right along the same kind. Was the same writing team as that? Better Off Ted. Do you remember? Do you ever see that show?
No, I don't think I've ever seen that.
If you ever get a chance, look up Better Off Ted. It's about this guy who works for a super evil organization. It's all these actors that you know from comedy series in like the last 10 years, but it was like a lot of their first major role type thing. So you'll recognize a lot of people, but it's this guy working for like an evil chemical corporation that like accidentally creates mutants and shit in their like office. And he's the PR guy that has to like cover up for everything and spin it all. And then he has to go home and be a normal single dad after he is like the most evil dude on the planet, but not in a bad way. It's all very lighthearted in how they talk about it.
Nice.
So, really good.
Well, appreciate you, Seuk. I know it's getting late up there on the East Coast, and kids are the airsoft kids are probably like, give us our COD squad leader back. We want our COD squad leader back.
Tango down. Tango down.
Right trigger. Right trigger.
I can't even keep up with these young kids.
So no, we really appreciate it, Seuk, and definitely keep us updated on the plans you have for what kind of reopening that you're going to have in the store, because we definitely want to support you and advertise it, because I think all of us are ready to get past this.
I am.
But nobody wants to rush it, which is a good thing.
Because if we rush it, then we get more infections and it comes back, and we have to do this over and over again for the next 5 years. So,
I know, right? So, all right.
Much love. Spread all love to all your peeps in the DC area for us, even though we don't get down there very much. We got tons of love for you guys. Please stay safe, okay?
Will do. All right. Thanks for having me on.
All right,
Hey,
man.
thanks, Seuk. All righty.
Do we have events?
Yeah, we do have events.
I mean,
a bunch shifted.
Do we have like announcement time? Or are we just announcing shifting or what? Like,
Yeah.
okay.
No, we got it.
Okay.
So, but we're going to cut to a quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere. We're going to cover some events because, since, President Trump, the POTUS, extended the stay at home till April 30th.
Wait, I thought we'd be home by Easter. Wait, that changed quick.
No, it was the next day
Yeah, I
he changed
know.
his tune so fast. I know, right? So don't go anywhere. We're going to talk about upcoming events and how they've changed right after this quick commercial break.
Hey, this is Sal with Third Coast Airsoft at Band Strike, and you're watching
This is the Valken Asl Aeg Tango. They come with a billet-style nylon fiber receiver and ambidextrous features including a selector lever and magazine release on both sides. Up front, it has a 12.5-inch free-floating M-LOK rail, as well as front and rear high-vis flip-up sights. We recommend using a Valken 9.6-volt nickel metal hydride or a 7.4-volt lithium polymer battery, which is sold separately. The velocity is 340 feet per second and comes in two-tone black and desert. Thanks for watching, and please leave a review to tell us what you think. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Valken Debrief Airsoft live show.
That sounded like a small puppy in the background. Was that a small puppy noise in the background?
They didn't hear it. I hadn't turned the microphones on yet because it was like, whoa, what was that?
Yeah, right before we came back, Mochi just had a very cute little like puppy yelp something.
Yeah.
Like she was not happy about being stuck in the bedroom
Oh
for
yeah,
the time of the
Mrs.
show.
Kaiju went out the room and I guarantee that was a yelp that, where are you going?
If you think I'm not going with you, you are insane.
You know her Mochi's full name, right?
No, I don't.
Mocha Chocolate.
That's a lot. I can see. I thought you were doing like mochi, like a Japanese glutinous dessert. That's what
Oh
I thought you were
no,
going
I
for.
don't like those. Ugh.
Really, you don't?
I tried those.
No,
Ugh.
they're good.
I bet you Alan Lau likes them though.
I guarantee. Well, me and Alan got to bond after Airsoft Con on our love of the nasty stuff. Because if you're going to eat Asian food, you got to love the really gross stuff, the intestines, the gizzards. We had a good time with that. That was a good meal, by the way. That was a lot of fun.
So if you're just joining us late, you missed. We were sitting down talking with Seuk Kim, who is the owner of
Tactical Airsoft Arena.
2 locations, one in Rockville, Maryland, one in Manassas, Virginia. And so
Rich has stopped commenting. I think we said tactical too many times.
I know, right? So if you want to catch the rewind, you can always catch it on YouTube or on SoundCloud. Just look up Valken Debrief on either of those platforms.
And I know we only talk to our SoundCloud audience twice an episode, but we'll do it again this time. So, hey, SoundCloud, how's it doing? Thank you so much for staying with us. This is a little visual part, but we'll get back to talking again in a second.
Yep. So it's the event segment time.
You get that beautiful graphics for me, homie?
I do.
Ooh. This week's Elite Force, the Valken Debrief event segment is brought to you by Elite Force Airsoft and is now international. This week's Elite Force product feature is the Umrex HK416A5. I got through that all without messing it up. I'm so proud of myself.
I know.
Airsoft rifle. Comes with the VFC Avalon gearbox featuring improved bearings, quick change spring system, built-in MOSFET, and it's powered by a high-torque neodymium motor. And I'll have to say, I have been running for a while now a Avalon gearbox as a lower of my machine gun, and that thing spits out rounds. That motor is a Hummer, if you know what I'm saying. Like, sends them down range real good.
Say neodymium again.
Neodymium. You like that? Like when I get all technical with you? All right, events time.
So give a little backstory. So the POTUS has extended the stay at home till April 30th.
Yep.
So there are a couple events that we're going to mention here in April. I went to their event page. It was silent. I went to the producers or the hosts page. It was silent. So we can't guarantee if these 2 April events are going to happen, but everything May on is still scheduled as far as we know.
I think for April we can operate under the assumption, unless you hear otherwise, that it is not going as scheduled. Because most producers have put information out on their new schedule and have reacted to this, and if they haven't reacted, it's probably because they are assuming it's not on. You know what I mean?
Because if you're just shifting a month, no, don't. Yeah. You're going to shift another month. No, I'm like, there's some smart folks like Freddie Flex from VFA. All right, no, we're shifting in November.
Yep. Kick it down the road as far as you can. Here we go. You ready to do this?
Yep.
All right, coming up, rescheduled to April 19th, and I'm guessing it's going to be pushed again. But big airsoft game in the Northeast region. East Coast Airsoft is hosting this at Robin Hood Paintball in Havre de Grace, Maryland. We should ask Seuk about that.
Yeah.
He could have told us about Robin Hood. We don't have a current updated date from this event, so we're just gonna suggest that you assume it's pushed back. Coming up next, we got the Sheboygan Sanctuary Incursion, April 25th to the 26th. This is a mere tactical event at the Abandoned Asylum in Sheboygan Falls, Wisconsin. Is this the pre-register one that they're?
No.
Okay, so. I'm going to also assume that this has been pushed as well, but we're waiting to hear back from Mere Tactical, and they'll fill us in. And as soon as they fill us in, we'll fill you in. So keep an eye on the website for that.
Look like Wilson from
I do.
From
like I'm
Tool
just
Time right there.
Just over my computer monitor here, providing. Unfortunately, I don't have sage-like advice like Wilson, and I don't have a wide breadth of experience like as a doula and all kinds of other stuff. He was a cool guy. Sheboygan Sanctuary Incursion 2, let's just assume that's been pushed, but please keep an eye on their website, and we'll update you as we hear. Coming up after that, we got Operation Dragon Rogue 7, May 2nd to the 3rd. This is a Third Coast Airsoft event at Team Airsoft Field in Dawsonville, Georgia. Valken will be the official on-site sponsor of this, among others. You'll be seeing our pretty faces there, and we are right now operating on the assumption that it's still good to go, but it seems pretty close to the cutoff, so depending on how models progress, still keep an eye on this one, guys. Coming up after that, we have Downfall 6, May 9th to the 10th. Otherworld Milsim is hosting this at the We Are
EMR.
Famous EMR Park in New Milford, Pennsylvania. EMR Event Park. I almost wish it was called EMR Action Park. Action Park sounds so much more fun than events, you know what I mean? But it's still a fun place. So that's still, once again, another event that is pretty close to the cutoff. So I would assume anything that's within about 2 weeks of this date, just assume it's still iffy until we get final word that things will be opening up on the 1st. But I would still tell people to expect for things to go farther than we expected them to. EMR, legendary place, legendary fields manager and owner, bunkhouses, great accommodations. It is definitely a bucket list place you need to check out. Coming up after this, we got Conflict 6. Now, this is still May 15th to May 17th. This is kind of right on the edge of that time frame we were talking about. Cobra Airsoft Legion is running this event at the famous Blast Camp Paintball and Airsoft in Hobart, Indiana. I think you're probably a little safer on planning for this time frame, because that should be enough time after the opening because keep in mind, guys, when they open restrictions back up, that doesn't mean that you still can gather in groups of 100 or 200. They might open up just for restaurants and stuff like that. So this might be a a curved opening, and some of these things might be over the numbers.
I think they got. You keep saying that for every single.
Did I really?
event.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Once again, I haven't talked to adults in a while.
I think they got the hint.
Did you guys
May
get
events
that?
could slide.
Okay. So Dark Emergency 6 is coming up after that, May 14th to 17th. Western Europe region, this is Airsoft Helden and Malwinkle. Guys, Airsoft Helden has been doing this for 7 or 8 years, this event. And if you don't know anything about Germany, you haven't been there, they like regulations and paperwork. I think it's like strong pornography for them, is regulations and paperwork. So if those guys have kept this massive event going for 7 or 8 years and people are still enjoying themselves and having a good time, these guys know what they're doing. So please support them if you're in the area.
Love Max and those guys.
Great people. Also, close personal friends of my partner over here. What's up after that? We got Operation Urgent Fury, May 16th, 17th. Mere tactical event at Seneca Army Depot in Romulus, New York. Been hearing good things about Seneca Army Depot. Become a real popular location for events. I think there's 3 or 4 events just on this list going down at that location. So
Well, remember Battle at the Depot 2?
Yep.
That was supposed to be in April. That got pushed, and we're going to let you know what the new date is for that.
I think that got pushed all the way to the fall, didn't it?
No, it got pushed to July.
Okay, so
it's on the end of the list.
Oh, is it? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Coming after that, we got Operation Stonebreaker 2020, Third Coast event, being held at GTI with, of course, the ever-popular Valken as a sponsor. This has already been rescheduled to May 22nd to 24th. Memorial Day weekend. So, wow, if you're planning on hanging out Memorial Day weekend, there's a lot of events this week, this Memorial Day. Normally there's only like 1 or 2. I think there's like 5 national events the same weekend this year. So, survival of the fittest. And once again, this was originally supposed to go down about 3 weeks ago.
This was in March.
Yeah, which has worked out good for me because I wasn't going to get to do it, but now I get to go play GTI. So see, there's a silver lining to every disaster. And of course, Third Coast loves their little birds. Remember.
Yep.
Coming up after that, we got Lion Claws 19 Total War. May 22nd to the 24th, Lion Claws Joint at George Air Force Base in Victorville. If you don't know Lion Claws, you've got your head in the sand. John Lou and his people put on a great event, great atmosphere, music, smoke, pyro, all that good stuff. Have some great celebrities like the ever-famous Mad Max Mullen, who is there to lead a side on to victory. And if you haven't played Airsoft with that guy, put that on your list to do.
March or die.
Yep, march or die. He does not take any crap. Also, that's at George Air Force Base in Victorville. You guys seen the videos. It looks like a post-apocalyptic Air Force Base. Totally cool place to be. Just be careful because it is falling apart.
Make sure your tetanus shot is up to date.
And don't climb in the rafters because I've seen several videos of people falling out of them. Coming after that, we got Eastern Front, May 23rd to the 24th. American Milsim Local at Zulu 24 in New Windsor. Zulu 24 is supposed to be the shiznizzle, apparently. Yeah. It is fire, as the kids would say. Lit. They say it's lit. And, of course, American Milsim, when they're doing their locals, it's a ton of fun. It's the American Milsim leadership brought down to run local players, give you a little of that national flair to see if that's what you're going to be interested in going up to that big next game. Coming up after that, also, want to give a hot shout out to all my AMS crew. Haven't seen you guys in a while, and I'm sad not to. Next is the Kankakee Incursion. Mere tactical event at the Dog Food Factory in Kankakee, Illinois. This has been rescheduled from a previous date to May 23rd to the 25th, same weekend. This is their pre-registration game, so please do not show up if you're not registered because I'm sure they have site limits to how many people can be on site and insurance stuff. So please follow what the event organizers want you to do. Otherwise, the events won't be there next year. And you'll have a whole weekend of driving wasted. After that, we got Trustien and Coupon, Centramillion Milsim event.
Centurion Milsim.
At Arena Training Facility in Blakely, Georgia. Bubba Smith is just going to hunt me down and murder me one day, isn't he? Either that or Colonel Verduga is just going to pop out of my closet and murder me.
If you missed last week's episode, Colonel Verduga and Bubba were going at it in the chat. But, apparently my co-host here got under Colonel Verduga's
I have
skin.
poked the bear one too many times, apparently.
Thursday in 2 weeks, April 16th, I'm pretty sure I've got Colonel Verduga.
Have we worked through the encryption
Booked.
so we can hide his location so that they can't, government forces can't track him? Has that all been worked out and everything, or is he just going?
Yeah, we have to use his satellites and his communication network.
Because I thought he'd have to do like an interview in the car where he's driving around so they can't pinpoint him.
No,
Is that how tracing works? I wasn't an electronic warfare guy. I don't know.
Yeah, apparently I'm VPNing from off of his network, so.
Ooh, we might want to firewall that. There might be some worries there. If he gets into the Valken main system, we don't know what chaos can happen from
So
there.
a couple of weeks, we're gonna have Colonel Verduga on the show.
But yeah, if you guys don't know, Centramillion is
You're gonna get water.
oh, I'm so am. It's an interesting experience. I haven't been
Full
there
immersion.
yet. I'm really looking forward to it. It's full immersion, but it's not full immersion like Milsim West, and I'm not saying that because one's better than the other. It's just it's very role play.
And we're not talking about, oh my gosh, they're going to put a bag over your head and
No.
put you in a small room and interrogate you and punch you.
But
No,
you
we're
need
not
to
talking. We're not talking about that. It's you just have to be open to do things like, I mean, typically just here's a little tidbit. So, without giving away the farm, for example, a lot of airsoft events you're confined to the borders of the venue. No. Don't be surprised if you're at a Centurion Milsim event and they tell you to put your civvies back on, drive to the neighboring town to meet a contact that looks like this, is standing at a certain location.
And when you say neighboring town, that actually could be the next town over, because
Yeah,
when they do one of their games, there's people still
Like
living
20,
in the town.
30 minutes away, and then all of a sudden you get in the town and there's a local festival going on, and it makes it a lot harder to find your contact and complete your mission. Now, that's all I'm going to say. I mean, that's the type of immersion that they go to lengths for.
I'm still pissed off. I haven't been to one yet. So, I mean, like, I didn't realize I had an opportunity like 2 years ago. And there's some team politics that stopped that from happening. I really wish I had made that trip.
Whisper saying, "Hey, we did that in a graveyard." Ooh. So he had to go meet a contact in a graveyard.
Hey, Tony, by the way, I got a bone to pick with Tony real quick. I am not the guy who cheats for you or whatever that was. Like that's a little insulting. Like I'm the one that cheats at games. Like that makes me a little butthurt, Tony. Much love to you, brother. We've got the last one. Bristol Land Rush coming up. Bristol Land Rush, May 30th to the 31st, Midwest region. This is an Overwatch Tactics joint at Black Ops Bristol in Wisconsin. Tickets are now on sale, and of course, Valken is a proud sponsor of everything Overwatch does. I actually got to have a conversation with Will Soto last night or the night before. I can't remember. But he is super stoked. They got some great things coming out for that. Mm-hmm. That's going to not be their scavenger hunt format. That's going to be their prizes in the middle of the game format. So if you
this is going to be closer to their division format.
So basically, as it's described to me, and I'm just passing on secondhand information here. Basically, at a certain time on the hour, within the hour, Soto Claus comes around and unlocks all the boxes at the checkpoints, and whatever you've been guarding for a while is some free BBs or some smoke or some grenades or something like that.
Basically,
cool
the easiest way to explain it is, you know how most airsoft events have an end of event raffle and just give away a bunch of stuff? No, they're taking all the stuff that's donated and adding it to the game as enhancers. Mm-hmm. So when, it's not because your ticket number got called in a random drawing. It's because
you went and got that shit.
You went and got it. You went and earned it, right? So,
nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, much love to all you guys at Overwatch. And also Consolidations, they lost a good member of their family a little while ago. Not, family, but the Overwatch family. So please send all your loves and thoughts their way, guys. Coming up after that, we got Operation Hornet's Nest, June 6th to the 7th. This is Missouri Airsoft and Simulation Site is the host, or it might be actually under their new banner for Milsim events, which is Big Boy Milsim.
Yep. Matt Holler was in the chat.
Yeah, Matt Holler was just here. I caught him afterwards. I was so into that conversation.
He had to bounce out.
Yeah, I was so in that conversation with Seuk. I was laser focused.
Seuk. Rob says suck.
Yeah, Rob does suck.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, I couldn't help myself. at the old airfield in Rantoul, Illinois. If you guys haven't checked out the video, please go check it out. They got some drone footage and walk around stuff in there. It looks like a rad location.
Their Facebook banner is the video.
Yeah, it looks rad. So please check that out. And of course, me and my old partner will be here, and we will be hanging out with you guys and playing and filming. So please come hang out with us there. And of course, as always, Valken is a sponsor. And then the final one is Battle of the Depot 2 Northeast Region MSATO event at Seneca Army Depot. This has been rescheduled from its previous time. This was an April game, or
yeah, this was like this weekend or next weekend.
This was this weekend. It's now going to be July 10th to 12th.
Yep.
Yeah. So they'll be back.
Yep. And that's it for, a lot of other events got shifted, like Southern Front got shifted to September. The Mere Tactical event down in the prison in Florida got moved to November.
And of course, we'll start talking about that stuff when it's in our time frame.
VFA's second annual charity event got moved to November. So they're in it for the long haul. So they wanted to make sure that they put it far enough out, and especially with locations where event hosts don't own the venue.
Yeah, that makes it harder.
Yeah, so they got to find open dates from the landowner.
I know I've said it a bunch tonight, guys, but please support your local shops, support your local fields, because this sucks right now, and some stores are already starting to close their doors because they can't last through this horribleness. But the effects of this whole issue are going to keep going until we have a vaccine.
Yeah.
People are still going to not want to gather in large groups, even if there's no restrictions, if the threat's there. So please help us support the people that have made the hobby we love accessible to us.
Yep. Just
so
do the
that
right
they can
thing.
be there for the future, guys.
Just do the right thing. And also, don't forget, you can always give us a call on our cold line / voicemail.
We won't answer.
Yeah. So if you want to be the next guest, or you have a guest that you think would be great, or you just want to share with what your local community is doing during this time, you can always reach out to us at area code 856-975-0650.
And actually, that outgoing voicemail message there is actually something. It's worth calling just for that. It's a fun little one. I think when after this, we might get a celebrity voicemail. Like,
we should.
Like Patrick Stewart or something like that. Do you think who's like the biggest celebrity we can get?
Oh, no. I would want. Who's the British guy?
Ian McKellen.
No. He was did like the 007 Bond, like
Roger Craig.
No, before.
Oh, not Roger Craig. King
Arthur and
Sean Connery.
Yes, Sean Connery.
Can't get him.
Oh my gosh.
Can't get him. He's retired. He actually retired 5 years ago from public life. I'm right there with you. But, I mean, personally, I'm a Patrick Stewart guy. Like, if you're going to get a voiceover, it's got to be Patrick Stewart.
Harrison Ford.
Ooh. Or what about the original Chewbacca voice? Just they call him, and then it just hits the tone, and you got to leave your voicemail after that.
Oh, my goodness. So we want to give a big shout out to our sponsors, Enola Gay, Elite Force, and the Valken Alliance. So check them out. Thank you all for watching or listening.
Keep your people safe. Arrive.
Raise hell.
Then leave.
See you next week.
Bye, guys.
But there's only one guaranteed way you can have peace, and you can have it in the next second. Surrender.
I didn't think you had it in you. I'm your Huckleberry.
We will not go quietly into the night.
It is your killer instinct which must be harnessed if you expect to survive in combat.
You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
They will be met with fire and fury like the world has never seen.
Remember this day, man. Or it will be yours for all time.
What keeps you awake at night?
Nothing. I keep other people awake at night.